In my mission to lift the lid on luck, I've come to Sydney's Luna Park to share the story of one of the great probability pitfalls. It starts with a casino tale a century old. It's something called the Monte Carlo fallacy, and it came about after a game of roulette played in the famous Monte Carlo casino back in 1913, when a ball landed on black 26 times in a row. 26 times. How would you bet next? Red or black? The gamblers that night in Monte Carlo made a terrible mistake. And it started with what's called the probability of independent events. Step right up, step right up. Do you want to improve your luck? Ladies and gentlemen, I can improve your luck. Improve your luck, sir? Would you like to improve your luck? How would you like to win? Now, how would you like to improve your luck?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. First question for you. If I have a coin, what is the probability that I will get a heads if I toss this coin?
50-50.
50-50. All right, do we want to take guesses what we're going to get?
Heads.
Heads? Okay. Tails. One tails, majority heads. I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to land it. It is tails. Very good. We're going to write that down. Okay, pretty much all heads except one tails. It is heads.
Yeah.
Okay, let's guess. What do you think?
Tails.
Heads.
Why did you guess tails?
I don't know, because I just think we have to get tails, like, sometime.
All right, it is tails.
Oh,
Good.
Yay.
All right. The coin's fair dinkum, and I'm tossing it for a reason. Each head or tail is an independent event, but intuition sometimes says otherwise. All right. You all guessed heads. It is tails. Tails again. Now, there was 5 tails in a row. What do you think is going to be next?
I think it's about time for a heads.
About time for a heads?
Heads.
Heads.
If you're going to pick heads, it'll be a higher odds, like 3/4,
Yes.
75-80%.
Because
Because you've got so many tails, sooner or later it's going to change.
would it surprise you if I told you that every time you toss a coin, the chances of getting heads or tails is always 50-50?
That's a good point. But if you get a lot of tails in a row, you're more inclined to pick heads.
And there's the problem. Whether a coin lands heads or tails is completely independent of what happens before or after. A head can be followed by another head, or by a tail, or by a string of tails. But we humans like to see patterns everywhere. When we hear that a coin toss carries 50-50 odds, we'd expect to see those odds represented in a group of coin flips. But, and here's the thing, the coin doesn't remember. Each time it's tossed, it still stands a 50% chance of landing on heads or tails. It doesn't matter what happened before. Mistaking independent events for dependent or conditional events is called the gambler's fallacy. And it's what happened around the roulette table back in 1913. Remember the story I told you about the Monte Carlo casino? There had been 26 blacks in a row. How would you have bet? Gamblers on that August night noticed the unusual run of black and started to bet on red. When the black run continued, they chased their losses, betting more and more until millions of francs were sunk in a single night. It was a legendary gambling fail. And that's why it came to be known as the Monte Carlo or gambler's fallacy. And the gambler's fallacy is cruelly described as a tax on those who failed maths.